The second week of February. An inverted fog rolling in on the sea's breeze. Spanish moss. Tillandsia usneoides. The sight of live oaks festooned in Spanish moss, upturned plumes of smoke dripping over the bluff upon the marsh, is an iconic mark of the Sea Island landscape. It's a bewildering plant, made of long, powdery gray strings that mat and weave between each other, aligning into long beards that trail beneath the limbs of trees. It seems to appear from thin air, a haze that persists and proliferates for a reason unclear, a botanical stalactite. To many travelers, it is but a scenic addition to the coastline, another curiosity in the holistic persona of that low country of which the locals speak. To many of us who reside beside the creeks and below the oaks, it is an obnoxious weed that litters the lawn, clogs the mower, and flicks redbugs onto your wrist as you brush it aside. To me, it is far more than either. It is a unique and important piece in the machine of our ecosystem. It has its place and purpose, and that task is greater than any superficial characteristic we assign it. First, let's clear some misconceptions. Spanish moss is neither a moss nor a parasite, and it doesn't require a host tree to grow. It's a flowering plant and an epiphyte. More than just any old epiphyte, it's an air plant. Spanish moss belongs to the bromeliads, a diverse plant family of many epiphytes as well as the pineapple. Epiphytes are plants that grow on the surface of other plants without harming them. Most root into the bark of their perch and create their own blanket of soil. Spanish moss takes it a step further by being an air plant. Spanish moss produces no roots, other than the holdfast it uses to anchor itself to the bark of a tree. It subsists entirely off of rainwater, salt spray, wind-blown dust, insect excrement, and the various chemicals washed over it as rainwater trickles down the trunk of its supporting tree. As such, Spanish moss needs no host tree if conditions are right, simply something to cling to. They will grow just fine on dead trees, eaves, and fences. Counter to common belief, they will grow on pine trees too. However, pine trees tend to thrive in drier regions, while growing taller with few limbs, conditions Spanish moss dislikes. As far as redbugs are concerned, those little devils live near the ground in grassy areas, not in trees. So Spanish moss, undulating in the breeze, is never a parasite problem. So what good is Spanish moss? In the past, it was a favorite for stuffing furniture. The long strands were cooked to strip away the fleshy exterior and expose their dark, fibrous core. This fiber was durable and rot-resistant, making a great packing material and stuffing for mattresses. But what is it good for now? Your garden and lawn, of course! Spanish moss is an air plant. That means it contains chemicals necessary for the growth of plants, and it plucks them from thin air. On top of that, its flesh rapidly composts, while its fiber core remains for months. It is fertilizer, compost, and mulch wrapped into one lightweight package that conveniently falls like manna from the trees. As a gardener, what's not to love about it? This package deal of fertilization and decomposition is an important part of the nutrient cycle in our maritime forests. The Spanish moss mixes with the annual deluge of live oak leaves each spring to brew a rich topsoil that rejuvenates thin and sandy soils, like those often found on the Sea Islands. If you leave it where it lies, and tolerate the havoc it wreaks on mower spindles, your yard will thank you. If that's yet a bridge too far for you, do not cast it over the bluff or deposit it along the woodlot just yet. Skirt your trees, your shrubs, your vegetables, and your flowers with it, and reap the benefits of this curly gray gift from on high. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you did, consider liking the video, and let me know in the comments what you learned. I'm planning to release these read-alongs weekly in 2025, so if you want to see more of these, subscribe down below. If you'd rather read yourself than listen to me, you're in luck! The script I just read is adapted from an online article series I write weekly, Flora and Fauna Friday. You can find it online at edisto.org/flora-fauna. The link's in the description. If you prefer to read from paper rather than a screen, you're in even more luck. You just heard me read a page directly out of a book I wrote, titled The Flora and Fauna of Edisto Island and the Lowcountry Sea Islands. The first book covers over 100 fascinating critters and plants in deep detail along stunning photography. It's a perfect primer on the unique ecology of the Sea Islands and makes a fantastic gift for any nature lovers in your life. Book number 1 in the series will be out spring 2025. You can pick up a copy online from eveningpostbooks.com. I've got a link in the description down below. Talk to you next week. Tom out.